Hi, this is Diane Lovetobake on YouTube. And what we're going to make are Scottish scones. I got this recipe from a friend of mine at church, and I really, I like them, and I wanted to make a video on them. Now, if you're looking for a traditional scone that uses granulated sugar and is quite different than these, you might prefer that, the traditional, the typical scones that are, about 6-inch round, and then they're cut into like pie sections. So this is quite different because this particular scone, you just can use one of your scoops, depending on how large you want to make them, or just put a mound of them on a greased baking sheet and bake them like that. So let's get started. You will start off, now I make this in my processor. You don't have to do that. You can make it simply in a bowl if you prefer. But I like when I have to cut the butter in. I just think it's faster, and I tend to like it. I think there's less cleanup after, but you'll decide what you prefer to do. What I have in the processor in the bowl already are 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Okay, so that's 3 cups. I'm going to also put in 1.5 cups of oatmeal. So 1.5 cups of oatmeal. And then I'm just gonna pulse it a little bit to mix it. Okay. Now we're going to put in 1/2 cup of brown sugar, and the same thing. I'm just going to pulse it till it's combined. We're also going to be needing baking powder, so you need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So you want to put that in. And then you're going to put 2 teaspoons of cinnamon in. Okay. Now, the next thing that you're going to be putting in, of course, is butter. I've cut it up into small pieces. I think it's easier to cut it in with the dry ingredients that way. It has been sitting at room temperature. 1 cup of butter. So I'm going to just turn on my processor and start bringing that butter into it. Just keep dropping those pieces in. Until it's all cut in. Now, I take this off and just with a spoon, or I had a handy knife, I just kind of make sure that everything's kind of blended in. And I'll turn that on again. Okay. All right. Now, I almost forgot, because I left it in the fridge. I meant to take it out. Is 1 cup of milk. But I forgot to take it out of the fridge. So I generally like to have it more at room temperature. And then I'm just going to start, turn this on, whoops, and put my milk Okay. And then I'm just going to bring the rest of the dry down to where the moist batter is. And just stay with it. It was lagging a little bit, you can see, you know, till it's mixed in, but just till that it's combined, okay? Now, you will be finishing up by using a half a cup of raisins. And then I'm just going to put them in here. I've got a wooden spoon ready here too. And I just kind of stir them in. Okay, there we go. And then I think I am going to turn it on just one more time. Okay. And then what I like to do is just to take this off, get my bowl off. Of course, if it would come off. Okay, there we go. Have a greased baking sheet, or use your parchment paper, whatever you prefer. Now, I use this size of a scoop, and I get 24 little scones out of them. If you want to get about 12 to 15, then use the large scoop. It really depends on, you know, what, you know, you want to do. And I just level it off with my scoop. They don't spread too much. So, you know, as long as they're, you know, a couple inches apart from one another, that'll be fine. You're going to bake them at 350 degrees. Now, if you're making the smaller scones, as I am, they're going to come up faster. So you're going to probably get those done in maybe 12 to 15 minutes. But if you're using the large scoop, they're going to take a little bit longer, of course, and they're going to take you 20 to 25 minutes. So you're going to have to kind of you know, keep that in mind. What I like to do is just use a dull knife and just put an X into the top. It sort of flattens it out, and it bakes more evenly if you do that. So I just put an X on the top of them once I get them all on my tray, okay? So again, once again, if you're going to use the large scoop, 20 to 25 minutes at 350, and if you're using this medium-sized scoop, you know, like I said, I believe I said 12 to 15. Now, when they do bake up, they'll have a nice golden brown on the bottom. The tops might be slightly brown. You don't want to over bake them because you don't want them to be dry. I like to actually put a drizzle, a sugar glaze drizzle over them. You can just mix a cup of powdered sugar and a couple tablespoons of milk or water to the consistency that you like. Let me rinse my hands quickly because I want to show you what they look like once they're baked up. These do not have a glaze on them as yet, okay? Nice golden brown. They will have a hard bottom and a hard top to them, okay? And what I like to do is, let me bring this over here for a second, on a little rack, is just to take my sugar glaze and then cover the tops of them. You can dip them totally in in the glaze if you want, and then I just set them on there to you know, harden, drip away and harden. Okay, now what they look like once they're baked up, they will look like this. As you can see, that's a nice size little treat for somebody. If you like the much larger, please go ahead and use your large scoop. I tend to check them with either a toothpick or a cake tester to see that if it comes out dry. And then also you can lift these scones and tap on them. If they sound hollow, then you'll know that they're baked. So let's break into one to show you. Perhaps let's do one that's been glazed over here. When you break into them, they will be semi-moist. They're not real dense. They do have a bit of density to them, don't get me wrong, but they're not, you know, real heavy, but they are slightly moist in the center. I'm going to just squeeze on that, and I hope that you maybe would be able to see, though, how moist they are. And I hope you can see that as I'm squeezing the scone. They're relatively, like I said, when you eat one of these, medium weight. So they're not extremely heavy, but they're not super dense. They have some moisture in them, and they're delicious even without the drizzle. If you don't want to put the drizzle on, or maybe you just want to shake powdered sugar on the top. But they are very moist. They have a bit of a chew to them. They are really delicious with a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, that kind of thing. Now, I won't be giving the recipe below the video. I'm sorry about that, but if you've watched other videos, you know I no longer do that because so many people take my work, bring it to other places and post and pin, and it's just not worth the time anymore, and I'm certainly not alone when it comes to that. So I hope I went through the directions clearly enough that if you're interested in trying these Scottish scones, you'll be able to try the recipe. Now, if you do try it recipe and you like it, leave a comment because I like to hear from you. And that's another reason I want to remind you, solely watch me on YouTube, because when you do write to me and it's on other sites, nothing's more frustrating that I can't answer your question or your comment and that type of thing. So if you're so inclined, if you would like to ring the bell or give this video a like or even subscribe, it would be really greatly appreciated by me. So I want to thank you for watching Diane Lovetobake on YouTube, and give these Scottish scones a try. I think you're going to like them. I really do. So again, thanks for watching Diane Lovetobake, and I'll see you soon.